Hello again, NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to yet another episode of This Week in the NCAC. I'm your host, Brett Billhart. On this week's show, we'll take a look back at all the action from around the conference for the week ending on October the 9th. To open this week's show, we'll begin to put the wraps on the fall golf season in the NCAC. In women's action last week, Worcester concluded its fall schedule with a third-place showing at the Mount Union Invitational, with a program best score of 368. The second-year program used career best performances from 4 of its 5 golfers en route to the record-setting round. 5 other NCAC women's squads competed at the Pat Klaus Invitational hosted by Wittenberg at the Windy Knoll Golf Club in Springfield. DePaul was the top NCAC finisher at the event in second place with 633 strokes, while Wittenberg was third with 642, Allegheny was fourth with a 646, Denison fifth with a 720, and Ohio Wesleyan was 14th with 759 strokes. DePaul senior Kelly Gauguin was the league's top finisher at the event in second place with a 2-day total of 150, while Wittenberg's Deanna Michaelishin also posted a top 5 showing in 5th place overall. Michaelishin, who is this week's NCAC Women's Golfer of the Week, tied a school record on day 1 of the event with a single 18-hole round of 75 and rounded out the tournament on Sunday with a 79 to post a 2-day score of 154. In addition, Wittenberg opened the tournament with a day 1 total of 309, which broke the school record for a single 18-hole round by 12 strokes. Allegheny will officially conclude the NCAC women's fall golf season this weekend at the Nazareth Invitational. And on the men's side, there were 3 NCAC men's squads who competed at DePaul's Small College Classic. DePaul and Denison paced the NCAC at the event in a tie for second place with 608 strokes, while Wabash posted a 5th place showing with a 653. DePaul sophomore Graham Singer collected NCAC Men's Golfer of the Week accolades after finishing second at his home event with a 2-day total of 148. Allegheny also competed over the weekend at the McDaniel Fall Invitational at the Bridges Golf Course in Abbottstown, Pennsylvania. The Gators placed 6th at the event with 627 strokes, led by sophomore Oliver White, who finished in a tie for 6th place with a 152. 5 NCAC men's squads will conclude the fall portions of their schedules in the coming week at 5 separate events. We'll now take a quick glance at cross-country results from last week, as it was a rather quiet weekend on the circuit. DePaul and Wabash both participated at the Gibson Family Invitational hosted by Rose Hallman in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Tiger women finished second at the meet, led by Siri Retrum, who finished 7th individually in a time of 23 minutes and 38 seconds. DePaul's Megan Everhart was also impressive for the Tigers, as she earned NCAC Runner of the Week laurels with a 14th place finish after covering the course in 24 minutes and 37 seconds. In the men's race in Indiana, Wabash posted a 4th place finish, while DePaul came in 8th. DePaul was paced by this week's NCAC Runner of the Week recipient, Pete Richard, who finished 11th overall with a time of 27 minutes and 3 seconds. Allegheny was also in action last week at the Mideast Pre-Regional hosted by DeSales in Center Valley, Pennsylvania. The Gator men finished 2nd out of 45 teams at the event, led by junior Bobby Over, who placed 2nd in a field of 448 runners with a time of 26 minutes and 1 second. Sophomore Christina Martin, who was the only Gator woman entered in the race, placed 7th in the field of 428 runners in a time of 23 minutes and 51 seconds. In the coming week, Hiram and Worcester will compete at the Worcester Invitational on Wednesday. Denison and Wittenberg will travel to the Wilmington Invite on Friday, and on Saturday, Allegheny, DePaul, Kenyon, Oberlin, Ohio Wesleyan, Wittenberg, and Wabash will all compete at the Interregional Rumble hosted by Oberlin. Moving on, let's break down some of the field hockey results from last weekend. Wittenberg climbed over 500 in league play with a pair of conference Ws. The Tigers opened the week with a 7-0 shutout over Earlham and posted a 2-1 overtime decision over Ohio Wesleyan on Thursday. Witt senior Elizabeth Dwyer was named NCAC Player of the Week after she poured in 5 goals and dished out 1 assist in the 2 league contests, highlighted by netting the overtime game winner against the Battling Bishops. Denison, who trails DePaul in the conference standings by a half a game, kept pace last week by earning a pair of shutout victories in league play, defeating Worcester 3-0 and Earlham 7-0. Big Red junior Katie Merrick became DU's career leader in goals scored as she notched her 45th career goal in the victory over Earlham. League action picks right back up this week as there are 8 conference contests on the slate. Now let's move on to volleyball, where we saw 3 NCAC squads post perfect records in league play last week. Kenyon improved to 4-4 in NCAC play with victories over Ohio Wesleyan and DePaul. The ladies were led by this week's NCAC Player of the Week honoree, Anna Marisic. Marisic tallied 35 kills and a .475 hitting percentage to go along with 14 blocks, 10 aces, and 10 digs. Hiram also upped its NCAC record to 6-2 with victories over Allegheny and Ohio Wesleyan, while Wittenberg remains unblemished in conference play after defeating both DePaul and Worcester in straight sets. NCAC volleyball action heats up this weekend as all 9 conference squads will travel to Worcester for the second and final NCAC weekend event of the year, with each conference team playing 4 matches at the 2-day event. In football action on Saturday, there was only one conference matchup that saw Allegheny pull away from Kenyon by a score of 31-17. The Gators were led to victory by this week's NCAC Offensive Player of the Week recipient, Jordan Fowler. Allegheny's senior signal caller had a career day under center as he established career benchmarks in completions, attempts, and yards. He completed 25 of 39 pass attempts for 271 yards and tied a career high with 2 touchdown passes. In addition, Wabash, which is ranked 12th in the nation by D3Football.com and 14th by the AFCA, defeated Washington University of St. Louis by a 24-3 margin. Little Giant senior linebacker C.J. Gum, who returned to the starting lineup on Saturday after missing the previous 2 games with a knee injury, collected NCAC Defensive Player of the Week laurels after totaling 13 tackles, including 3.5 tackles for loss. League action picks up this weekend as there are 3 conference games on the schedule, with Wittenberg traveling to Kenyon, Allegheny hosting Denison, and Wabash traveling to Oberlin. And finally, we'll conclude this week's show by looking at results from the soccer pitch. In men's action, Denison jumped into a 3-way tie for first place in the conference standings with DePaul and Ohio Wesleyan after earning a 3-2 come-from-behind victory over Worcester. Big Red freshman J.J. Dix earned NCAC Player of the Week accolades as he sparked Denison's comeback bid in the second half. Dix assisted on Denison's first goal of the contest to tie the score at 1-1 in the 76th minute, and put DU up 2-1 with a goal just 3 minutes later. In the marquee matchup of the weekend, Ohio Wesleyan traveled to Greencastle, Indiana, and came away with a 1-0 triumph over DePaul. OWU senior Tyler Bryant provided all the offense that was needed in the match with a goal in the 32nd minute to help extend the Battling Bishops' current unbeaten streak in NCAC play to 34 straight. The battle for the coveted top 4 spots in the conference standings heats up this weekend as there are 10 league matches on the docket. On the women's side, Worcester began its climb in the league standings with a 1-0 victory over perennial NCAC power Denison and a 0-0 draw against league-leading Allegheny. The Fighting Scots were led by junior goalie Michelle Ring, who corralled 12 saves in 110 minutes to up her season saves total to 52. Ring was recognized as the NCAC Women's Player of the Week for her efforts. Ohio Wesleyan, which is among 4 teams tied for second place in the league standings, picked up a statement win last week as the Battling Bishops took down DePaul 1-0 on Saturday. OWU senior midfielder Bell Madison netted the game winner for the Battling Bishops with just 15 seconds remaining in regulation. Fans, be sure to keep up with NCAC women's scores throughout the week, as we fully expect the jockeying for the top 4 slots in the league standings to continue, as there are 8 league matches on the conference schedule. Fans, we thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to continually keeping you up to date on the most current NCAC highlights on our weekly installments of This Week in the NCAC. And as always, for up-to-date news, standings, and stats on your favorite NCAC squads, you can visit our website at www.northcoast.org.